Live. I am excited to be back with you. I missed you all, and we're excited for tonight's guest to kind of inject a little joy into your week and into this time, which I know it's been difficult for so many of us to find joy throughout this past year. So we're really excited to have our guest tonight with us, and we're going to bring her in just a few minutes, but I'm going to give everybody a chance to come on into the chat. So welcome. Please drop us a note in the comments. Let us know where you're watching and joining us from. Let us know how old your kids are, where you live, how long you've been following NJMOM. If you're a new follower, welcome. We're so happy to have you. And if you are one of our regulars, I see you, Lexi. How are you? Welcome, and so happy you're with us tonight. So for those who may not know me, my name is Marissa. I host NJMOM TV Live. I have 3 little ones, 5 and under, and I hear them still upstairs. So hopefully they'll be asleep soon. So if you're still in the bedtime mode, I feel you. I'm with you on that. And yeah, I'm just excited to have you all with us. This is really our chance to connect with moms all around New Jersey. We love doing this with you, and we love bringing you some amazing guests who really just help us kind of walk through momming together. So hi, Karina. So glad you're with us. Yay. Good to see you. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's week? What is new? Are we enjoying this weather as much as I am? I know for me, it's been really nice to finally just have some nicer days to get outside with the kids, burn off some energy, all of that. So please drop a comment. Let us know what your week's looking like and, kind of how things are for you and your household. Would love to hear about what you're currently going through in mom life. So let us know in the comments. So we always do a couple things at the start of our NJMOM TV Lives. We start by just giving a thank you to all of our essential and frontline workers. We started doing these a year ago now, almost, really last spring when the pandemic first started. And we just always like to make sure that we shout out all of the frontline workers who are still on the front lines doing all they can to get us all through this. So if you are one, and I know we have several who join us week after week, thank you from all of us on the NJMOM team. We also like to just give you guys a couple notes and just shout outs of a few great things we have on our site week to week. This site, I will just say this, is packed with all of the spring goodness you've been looking for the kids, for your family. I mean, just so much up on njmom.com right now. So I'm just going to shout out a couple things that we'll drop the links to in the comments as well. So you can easily click those and check them out and give them a look, because there's lots up there if you haven't been on the site yet this week. So we do every Monday our NJMOM Mompreneur of the Week articles, which are a huge favorite. All of you guys always say how much you love them. We love them as well. We love all our NJ Mompreneurs. The whole team just really enjoys seeing just all of the amazing women doing such incredible things, have such great business ideas, doing so much for their families, all of that. So this week I loved reading about Joan. Our Mompreneur of the Week this week is Joan Silvestro. She is with Book Trader of Hamilton. And I love her story because it is one of sort of stepping in when you see a business you love for sale. So she essentially saw her beloved local bookstore up for sale, didn't want it to close, stepped in, bought it, and has been running it ever since. And so I loved hearing just her perspective on stepping into this world that she really knew nothing about. She'd never run a business before. And then also just how she pivoted throughout the pandemic, which every business owner has had to do in some way. And so reading how she did that with a local bookstore was really cool. So give that a look if you haven't had a chance yet to check that out. And also some fun, tons of fun spring stuff, as I mentioned, but particularly for this week, another favorite article is our kid-friendly things to do this week. So we have 9 kid-friendly things to do this week. Some great ones, including opening weekend of Jenkinson's, which it was so amazing for me to see, because we're almost to summer when that's happening. So we're into spring, summer's coming our way. So that's really cool. So that's happening this weekend. Jenkinson's Boardwalk, the rides, everything. There's also a family nature spring party in West Orange. It's called the Spring Shindig in West Orange. That sounded really fun for the kids. And then again, just all things spring up on the site. So there's an amazing article that is spring flowers in New Jersey are here. So this is all of the great spots from Holland Ridge with the tulips to Peony's Envy, which is amazing if you've never been. I mean, all of those like Instagram worthy, gorgeous backdrops and just places to go out and run around with the kids outside and take in the beauty of spring. We've got you covered in that one. And then also, I know I was actually just saying to someone today, I can't believe that Easter is like a week and a half away. We haven't really done any Easter activities yet with the kiddos. So all the Easter activities, egg hunts, things like that. We have a roundup on the site with that. We have a deep dive into deep cut gardens, which I've been really wanting to take the kids to. So that's up there also. So just tons of stuff to check out for you. And I hope you'll give all of those a look. And as always, thank you for tagging us in your pictures. We've posted a bunch of the places I just mentioned and kind of the activities I just mentioned on Instagram and on our site and our photo roundup. So we always appreciate you hashtagging and tagging NJMOM. We love to see your adventures. And I mean, this time of year, they're just so colorful and cute and fun. I know they bring us, talk about joy. I know they bring a smile to my face when I see them. And it's always fun to check out what other families are doing with their kids and get ideas. So that is some things that you should check out this week. Also, we just wrote on the photo note, we always love to choose our cover photos of the week on Facebook. So check that out too if you want to be our cover photo of the week as well. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks so much. Happy that you're here. And please email us. Let us know. Email info@njmom.com because we'd love to hear more about you. Fun things to do next week with kids for spring break in North Jersey. Yeah, there's tons of stuff on the site, tons of ideas. Hopefully we can drop that in the chat also, because I'm pretty sure there's a full article on spring break stuff. So hopefully we can drop that for you, Stephanie. Thank you for asking. There is so much going on over the next few weeks, which is great. We're all getting out a little bit more, which we love. So all good stuff. All right. So if you're just hopping in, and I see a couple of people just coming in, hi everybody, welcome. Happy you're here tonight with us for NJMOM TV Live. I am Marissa. We are about to get into our guest in a minute, Erica Lasan, and we're going to talk joy. So we're going to lighten up your week. We're going to inject a little light and joy into your night. And so super happy you're here with us, and get your questions ready for Erica. She's gonna offer us some really great tips, but if you have any specific questions on ways to think about this in your everyday life and your life as a mom, please get those wheels turning. Anything you'd like to ask her. Yeah, so, butterfly gardens too, beachfront playground. So there's a million like amazing articles up on the site. It was really hard to choose just a few because it's like jam-packed with good stuff. So definitely give a look, all of those that we're listing there. So very cool stuff. Okay, let's bring in Erica. In the meantime, if you want to leave a comment, a question, just a hello, just telling us a little bit about you, please do so. Drop it in the comments for us. So let's bring in Erica without further ado. Hello.
Hi, hello, moms. How are you? Hello, Marissa. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being with me and being with us all here tonight. We're so happy to have you. First, I want to just give you an opportunity to let moms know a little bit about you. First of all, Joy Strategist is what you are. Not a title we hear very often. So start maybe by telling us, what is that? How did you become one? And why are you so passionate about joy as a person and as a mom?
Ooh, okay. So many good tidbits to get into here. So as Marissa shared, hi guys, my name is Erica Lasan, and I am a joy strategist as well as the founder of the Live Rich movement. And I work with women and entrepreneurs in transitional phases of life, helping them find joy, purpose, and healing, and what's next, one feel-good thing at a time. And as a joy strategist, my role, my job is essentially to help people figure out what feels good and help them move in alignment with the things that make them them feel good in every sense of the word. And the reason why I'm so passionate about joy is because when you're living in your joy, there's no room for anything that doesn't feel good. But more importantly, when you begin to move in your joy, you begin to align yourself with your purpose. And when you start to move every single day in alignment with your purpose, you not only impact the way you feel, but you then begin to benefit your family in a really amazing way, your partner in a really amazing way, the community around you in an amazing way. And you just begin to touch the world in such a powerful and impactful way that the joy that you inherently feel then begins to overflow and touch the lives of others. And it's really important as a mom, because when you're able to touch on that joy and live fully in that joy and create not only a habit of joy, but a lifestyle of living in your joy, you show up as the fullest version of yourself for everyone around you. It's not about being selfish, but it's really that finding your joy and committing to the act of living in your joy allows you to be selfish to the point where you're actually being selfless, because you're able to give to others around you in a way that you can't if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling tired, drained, frustrated, irate, and just not like the best and biggest and brightest version of yourself. So when you begin to live in joy, you're able to do that. And then it just like spreads to everyone around you, and especially your children, because they get to see like not angry mommy or not like irritated mommy or annoyed mommy, but then you really do become like fun mommy all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to be upset about.
Well, that sounds amazing. Sign me up like 5 times over, because, it's a hard time right now to do all that. So we're going to get into that part of it in a moment. But first, I want to know a little bit more about you. So how did you become a joy strategist? How old are your children? Tell us a little bit about Erica as mom and why you were led to this path.
Okay. So I am actually a mom of 2. I'm a stay-at-home mompreneur of 2. And my children are, well, actually one is turning 5 in 2 days. Her birthday.
I have a new 5-year-old as well myself. Yes.
Is she an Aries or he?
He. His birthday is February 12th.
Ah, okay. Oh,
so
wow.
I'm not big on signs, to be honest. So I think you just missed that. But I don't know. You may know better.
It sounds like your son is about the same age. Well, no, because this is the 5-year-old. My son is just turned 3, and his birthday is on the 22nd, and he's a Pisces. So I have a Pisces and an Aries. I'm a Cancer, for all of you who are into the sign world. Yeah. And so I have those 2 kids, and they are awesome. Like I call them my little cuties, because they are absolutely adorable. They like make me feel so good. And they really put me on this path and this purpose of really wanting to make sure that I engage with my purpose in a really full way. And in addition to being a joy strategist, I'm actually a multi-passionate creative. So this role of being a mompreneur is, in the sense of being a mom and an entrepreneur, is something that kind of started new for me 5 years ago, but I've always been an entrepreneur starting at the age of 13. And the way that I actually ended up as a joy strategist is kind of accidental, in that I had to go through a couple of transitional phases myself. And in those times, it was just really hard for me to feel good. Like I found like I was crying every day. And so I work specifically with people in transitional phases, because I know how hard it is to ground yourself and anchor yourself in joy in really hard times. So the first transitional phase that I experienced was leaving high school and going into college. And at that point, you're adulting, you don't really know like who you are without the guidance of your parents. So you have to like figure out who you are. But if you're going the traditional route, then you're more than likely going to do what makes your family or your parents proud. So I went to college for 4 years, and then I experienced my second transitional phase, which was graduating from college. And this one was where I thought I had it all figured out and life was like moving. I'm like, all right, I've done what I've been expected to do. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to make this amazing salary, and I'm going to ride off into the sunset and live the life of my dreams. And I graduated in the middle of a recession, and that is not what happened for me. And I just found that I was so, I don't want to say miserable, because I generally have a really nice disposition, but where I wasn't it for me. I was crying every day because I was applying to these jobs that I didn't think I'd want long term. I was at the internship that I had in college, but they weren't really like taking full advantage of me and my creativity. So I wasn't feeling very fulfilled at work. And every day on my lunch break, I would walk around the building, I'd cry. And during my working hours, I would go to the bathroom and I'd sit on the toilet and I'd cry. I'd clean my face off, and then I'd come back to my desk, and then I'd think about the fact that I'd just been in the bathroom crying, and it'd make me want to cry some more. It was not the way to live.
We've all been there at some point in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. And, at one point I just realized that, well, Erica, you are so young, and this is the way I think about it. And this is kind of what inspired me to really commit to this lifestyle of finding joy is, well, God forbid if you were to die tomorrow, like what would you have wished you would have done? Like, what would you wish you would have tried at least? Like, and you're so young. You could always come back to working a regular job if that's what you want. But what is it that makes you feel enriched, and what makes your soul sing? And at one point, I basically tapped into that, committed to discovering that for myself. I quit the job at the marketing agency where I was, and then I decided to go back to working retail, which is every parent's dream, right? You spent all this money for this college education, and your child goes back to work retail. But it was something that I needed to rediscover who I was and the things that really made me tick. And that was a marvelous time for me. I spent 6 years after that building up a career as an on-air host and doing street interviews and creating video programming for a couple of different places. And I had something that I thought was going to be a really big break for me. And I'd gone through this process where I was doing a workshop with NBC Universal. And it was something that they were doing in collaboration with the American Black Film Festival. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm going to be on TV. It's happening. And I had that workshop, and it was wonderful. And then a week later, I found out I was pregnant. Marissa, I cried for 3 days. I cried for 3 days because at that point, I felt like, what am I now? I have to go do the right thing. I have to get a real job. I can't just do the things that I want. And as a multi-passionate creative, it just felt like I wasn't upset that I was pregnant. At this point, I'd been with my fiance because he was my college sweetheart turned fiance. He's now my husband because he's amazing. But it just felt like I'm going to have to kill my dreams in order to build up this little person's dream.
And I think so many moms really can relate to that. And I'm sure in your experience, you say these transitional phases. I was going to say that the biggest one of the biggest, if not the biggest transition of our lives, our collective lives as NJMOMs, is becoming a mom. It is transformational in every way. So tell us a little bit about what moms can do, like some general tips for moms at home who maybe are feeling a little bit of what you're feeling, in the sense of, especially right now, being pulled in this direction of wanting to be the best possible moms we can be, and also staying true to our own joy, because it's sometimes hard to do that. It's often hard to do that for us.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So for all of you moms who are trying to figure out how to find your way to joy and make it a lifestyle, I would like to introduce you to my 3-step process and really getting you on what I like to call a journey to purpose, because it's all about finding joy and then using that joy to align you with your life's purpose so that you can live fully. And the first part of that is really just taking a journey to joy, getting clear about the things that bring you joy, not in the sense that it's the nice idea or the nice things that seem or sound nice for everyone else around you, but what really inherently makes your heart sing. What is it that if you could do it every day, you would do that? What is it that would allow you to feel like the fullest version of yourself? Basically creating a list of those things and making sure that you commit to doing at least one of those things a day to start off, and then seeing how good that joy feels. And I always say that once you start to do that, you get a little taste of the joy, it turns into a feast that you want to have every day.
I love that, because I think that, now it's like, I think the latest meme going around is like, the internet's telling you to do this and this as a mom, do this, you got to keep the virtual schooling, you got to keep, you're working from home, and by the way, practice self-care, and it's like, sometimes it can almost feel, and we've talked about that a lot here with our NJMOM community, is that we all know it's really important to practice self-care. But number one, sometimes it can feel like pressure. And number two, self-care for you may look totally different than self-care for me. It's not always a bath and candles. So I love that idea of really examining like what it could be something very unconventional that brings you joy.
Yeah, exactly. And just knowing that for yourself and committing to it. Because like you said, the internet has us all messed up. It comes with like wonderful opportunities and so much information. But at this point, it's like so many people are more concerned about how the world perceives them versus how they perceive themselves. And it's really a matter of like what you think about yourself that matters most. And as you begin to live in that fully, then you're able to really create whatever it is that you want. There are absolutely no limitations. We are limitless beings. It's really a matter of getting clarity around what it is that you want and making sure that you then move in alignment with the thing that brings you joy.
Okay, so second question to that, and I think that a lot of moms are like, okay, well, I know something. I can name like 5 things that bring me a heck of a lot of joy. I have 0 time for these 5 things. So how do we practically put this into play in our lives where it becomes a daily habit, a weekly habit, whatever, while we're balancing all the pandemic parenting things that we're all dealing with?
I love this. So routines are really helpful. As a multi-passionate creative, at one point I was all over the place, and I was like, if it doesn't feel good in this moment, I don't necessarily want to do it. And while I still keep to that line of thinking in terms of just like evaluating how I feel about anything at any given time, it's really helpful to just have a schedule that you can keep to, and carving out that time for yourself, but more importantly, understanding that it's okay for you to take breaks where you perhaps put your children in front of the TV for a half hour if that's what it needs. Like, build that into your schedule so that they know when those times are. And the beautiful part about you committing as a mom to your joy and carving that time out for yourself is that it's also an opportunity for you to teach your children the importance of self-care. It's also an opportunity for you to teach your partner the importance of them also taking time for themselves. So the moment you commit to the action of committing to yourself and what brings you joy, that then begins a habit for everyone in the home to then figure out what their thing is as well. So at some point, maybe it does start off as TV time, or maybe it may start off as reading time, or it could be yoga and meditation. And then as you're taking time to do it, you can also find a children's variation of it. So if you're doing yoga, there's an amazing site called like Cosmic Kids Yoga.
Cosmic Kids.
Oh my gosh, Jamie is amazing. I'm like, she's so creative.
She
like,
really is. She really is.
Oh my gosh, she was so awesome. So you can take your 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and then you can put them up in front of their thing. So they're also then learning the same things and same elements of joy that you're starting to implement in your own life. Or if it's reading, then you set your kids up with the book, and then you take your half hour to do it. They do theirs. Or if it's something where maybe you're not able to do it during the day because, we have work life and we have school life and everything, try to make a habit of getting up a little earlier, even if you can get a half hour in at the start of the day. I always say that you should really take care of yourself before you take care of everyone else, because if you're able to get that me time in at the start of the day, your day will go by so much smoother. Like, trust me, ladies, if you are not a morning person, it is worth going to sleep at least a half hour earlier in order to get up earlier so that you can have that time, that reflective, quiet time before everyone's noise starts coming into your ecosystem.
I totally agree with this, and I'm relatively new to this myself. And just a quick, like, my kids have always been early risers, including my oldest. So for the past 5 years, like, I mean, between 5:30 and 6 usually, like early.
Yeah.
And they've finally sort of evened out. And my youngest is 18 months, so she's like my best sleeper now. But anyway, I just started doing this about like a month and a half ago. I don't do it every day. If like my body's telling me I need more sleep one day, I stay in bed till the kids are up. But a good friend of mine calls it wake before the quake. And I think that truer words have never been spoken. It's like before the like nuttiness of the day, just that like quiet time. I set my coffee the night before, I come down, I do like a brain dump of like, just things that I was thinking about before sleep or when I got up, because they're all swirling around our heads at all times. And it's really, really helpful. So I think that's like, if you're not doing that yet, Erica, you're like, I totally agree with that tip. I think it's spot on.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I've never really been a morning person, or so I thought, but that's because as a multi-passionate creative, again, I always thought I worked best at night, but it's just that it's kind of like a lifestyle thing that I believe we've been conditioned to do, where it's like the harder you work, the longer the hours, the more productive, the better you are, the more efficient you are. And that's not necessarily true. Rest is good. Rest is actually a sacred act. And for the past year, that's been something that the Holy Spirit's really been speaking to me and trying to have me make a priority. And the moment I did that, it was like life changed, like the way I would see things, and I was able to go to sleep earlier so I could get up earlier. And then just having that time just really sets things up for marvelous results throughout the day. So yeah, that's definitely a thing that moms can do. And if you're not a morning person, then listen to your system, listen to your body, take into consideration your schedule, and do it at night. If that's the time that works best for you, make sure you are taking that time, that hour, that half hour, however long you can make it, at the end of the night, and then commit to doing it and making sure that you're making the most of it.
Yeah. Karina says, my me time has become my drive to work in the morning. It's the only time alone. Yeah, I don't have a drive to work because I'm working from home, Karina. So I feel you. There is like no me time. Like it's non-existent for so many of us right now. So we are all in this with you. Just silence and a little, time to be with my thoughts. It's been really crucial. So if you're able to do that, you'll have even for 15 minutes, you'll have an added bonus, Karina, if you can fit it in. But it is so hard. And I think for so many of us, and probably, our moms watching, we're like, well, this all sounds great, but like practicality wise, how do we do it? How do we really make the time and kind of really get our partners on board and all of that? So any tips in terms of that system, implementing it so that you can really, feel supported in making it a priority?
Oh my goodness, yes. So I like to say activate accountability. It's actually the third step of the journey to purpose, and just bringing people in on your experience. So after you've gone through your journey to joy, I always say that your purpose usually ends up aligning somewhere along the way. And I'm really big on vision boarding. Oh my gosh, I love a good vision board. So just having that clarity, but then making sure that you're bringing people in on the experience, because when you're able to do that, then you're able to have them not only know what your goals are in terms of your wellness practices, in terms of your journey to joy and what's going on and how you're feeling, but it also then inspires them to potentially join in on it with you. So in the same way that I said, you could bring your kids into the activity, you can bring your partner into the activity as well. The activity of committing to this habit, making sure that you're communicating with your partner, hey, every day I am doing this and this is the schedule. So it's, or the routine or whatever you want to call it, is great for the kids because then it gives them something to look forward to. And, children are really big on wanting to be a part of the experience. So when they know what's happening, it helps them hold you in integrity with your word as well. My 5-year-old or 4-year-old, oh my gosh, she is like little miss, not even truth teller, but if I say I want to do something, she'll be like, Mommy, you said that you were going to do this.
My son's the same way.
Yeah, so I tell my kids my goals, and I ask them in the same note, well, what is it that you'd like to do? So that we're holding each other accountable. And yes, they may be young, they may be 5, but at the same time, it also teaches them the importance of being in alignment with their word to themselves as well. And same thing with your partner. If you have yet to communicate what it is that you're doing, or if you all of a sudden start this journey to joy and it's like, I'm not doing what doesn't feel good, but then they aren't clear on exactly what it is that you are doing, it's easier for them to not understand what it is that you're trying to do, but more importantly, they don't understand why you're doing it. If they have an understanding of why it's important that you do this particular thing, whatever it is, then they're more likely to be on board with you and helping you commit to that very thing that you said you wanted to do. Because you doing this thing and enjoying this thing and the experience that you have and the joy that's felt, when they begin to see how that begins to resonate with you and how it begins to affect the overall home, they'll want you to feel that way all the time. So they're more likely to support you in the journey. So just making clear to everyone what's going on. And then also just getting an accountability group. At the Live Rich movement, we have this thing that I call LRM challenges, and they're 21-day challenges that are grounded and anchored in wellness, but not just wellness in the sense of looking good, because it's about more than looking good. It's about feeling good. So we concentrate on physical wellness, mental wellness, spiritual wellness, financial wellness, and social wellness, because that is a huge, huge thing, especially in times like these. And having an understanding of what your goals are, sharing them in an engaged community that will also lift you up and support you on this journey to joy, and just moving, in a way that makes everyone feel good, and understanding that your joy matters. You matter, but your joy actually matters because it allows you to serve the world in a greater way.
I think that's such a great point, because I think that sometimes especially right now, right? There are so many heavy things happening in the world for the past year, and it seems like it just keeps coming, and I know we've all felt that together over the past year, many times over. So I think sometimes it can feel almost frivolous, well, I'm just, I'm healthy, I'm safe, my family is okay, I'm lucky, I'm working, I'm fine, I don't need to, life isn't perfect. Everyone's not happy all the time, but what do I need to do that for? So I think that that's a really good point. Just to kind of touch on that, why is joy so important for us? What does it do for us as people, physically, spiritually, emotionally, wellness, all of that? And why should we kind of make it a priority?
We should make it a priority because your joy is a thing that allows you to access peace. It goes beyond feeling good, and it goes beyond doing things that look super cool to everyone else. But when you're able to tap into your joy, you are ultimately able to access freedom And that freedom brings serenity and peace that allows you to move through hard times, even with all of the world's situations, all of the circumstances, even like the craziness that's happening and that feels like it's beyond your control because there's always so much heaviness that's happening. You're then able to surrender it. Because when you're able to live in your joy and you've attained that peace and you're on the path for your purpose, you understand that you are literally doing everything that you can in your power to make the world a better place. So often it's that you feel, right, as people, we feel as though if something is happening, we have to do something. Like I know
we should do this, we should do that.
Responsibility. Yeah, you know, like we feel like we need to take on the stuff of the world. And you know, it's great to feel that, but you shouldn't do it in a way that's misaligned with who you are or what you've been called here to do.
Yes.
So if you are someone that's operating in your purpose, and your purpose is, again, the beautiful part about it is that it's something that brings you joy in some way, shape, or form. So if you are already operating in your purpose, you are serving the world in a greater way that makes you feel good. But then because it makes you feel good, it ultimately makes other people feel good. You're doing all that you can do. If you're an artist, create some more art. If you are a singer, sing some songs, write some songs. If you are an engineer, develop something that will serve the world in a greater way. If you're a mathematician, you know, like run some numbers in a way that will elevate your community in some way, or mentor someone in a way that will help them understand math in a way that, like, there's so many ways. And the beautiful part about purpose is everybody has one. Everyone has one. And the sad part is, because of the world that we live in and the way society is set up, so many people have placed so much more emphasis on monetary gain that they've lost the understanding and the need for the importance of discovering your purpose. And and when I say discovering, it's not even a matter of discovering, because it's something that you're born with. It's your purpose is what you've literally been placed here to do. So it's a matter of realigning yourself with your purpose and then really committing to that and creating a lifestyle around whatever that is. And at this point, there's so much available to us, you know, so you can really create whatever you want to create and live the life that you want to live. It's just a matter of deciding and making a choice to choose your joy.
Oh, I love that. So many gems. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. It was so true. Amanda says, I think it's Amanda. It's a joint, so it says Adam Amanda, but I'm guessing it's Amanda. Definitely, my hubby tells me, "Why are you doing that?" Because it makes me happy, just like painting, just like you said. Exactly. Yeah. We have to harness those things that do make us happy, because it's cyclical. And I think you just described that so well, right? Like, so what we, you know, feel and then project out, you know, affects someone else and comes back into the world in a different way. And I just think that that's such a beautiful way to think about it, and such a beautiful way to frame it when you're thinking about, you know, joy for yourself isn't inherently selfish, because it turns around and projects onto someone else in the process, which I think is so true. And it's not, I think, a way that we often think about it. We, you know, I think sometimes people think of like the phrase, like, do what makes you happy, as kind of like a naive or just sort of like unrealistic way of living life, when in reality, it's the most realistic. Like, if you think about it that way, it's the most realistic way you could pursue life, you know?
Joy should be our default. As a matter of fact, when we enter this world, joy is the default, but we allow the world to take us away from what is natural to us. Joy is our natural, it's our first emotion, really, you know? And the moment we're able to understand what brings us joy, so that we can bring it ourselves back to that even and level playing field of joy as our default, is the moment that we're really able to move through the world in such a powerful way. And the idea of happiness is, you know, happiness is a nice idea, but happiness is also very fickle. But when you're able to engage with your joy, you're able to understand that even in the hard times, there's always something to be celebrated. And I'm someone who leads through with a faith-fueled, purpose-propelled mindset. That's like my thing. I live in alignment with faith. I'm propelled by my purpose. So when you have those two things in mind, you're then able to flow through the world with it's like a natural high. Like nothing can get you down. And it's amazing because it is substance free. You can tap into it as much or little as you like. It's not illegal anywhere. And it's just a wonderful way to live. Like there are really some days where I feel like skipping down the street. And I'm sure if people see me, they're like, what is wrong with this chick? But it's like, life is good. As long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as you are able to wake up, it's a good day. Yeah. It's a day it's a canvas, a blank canvas. You can create whatever it is that you want. And when you're doing it every day and you're doing your purpose, you know that no matter what transpires throughout the day, you've done what's necessary in order to bring goodness, light, and joy to the world in the ways that you know how. Yeah. That's all I'm really asked for.
Absolutely. I think all of us are thinking like, okay, how can we bottle up some of Erica's joyous spirit coming through? Because it's so like your energy is so contagious, and it's really refreshing, especially, at a time where it's been a heavy time, and I want to ask a little more about that next, but I just want to make sure everyone is asking their questions. If you have any thoughts for Erica, any questions, any specific examples or kind of circumstances that you want to talk through in this frame of joy or finding more joy in your life, parenting, whatever, please let us know in the comments. Just wanted to shout that out in case anyone's just popping in. One thing that I do, want to talk about, and we touched on this, is that there is so much happening in the world, and it is really heavy, and it's been a lot to consume and take on, and we're surrounded by it all the time. What are some ways that we can still be able to have joy, even in, maybe on a day where, like yesterday, we had another mass shooting out west. It was, the instant I read that, your heart aches. It's like another palpable fear for your kid, just so much as humans, as, empathetic, compassionate people, and also as moms when you worry about your own family. So when all of these thoughts are sort of swirling in our head and we feel ourselves sort of in that spiral of worry and despair, how can we in that moment shift a bit and tap into the joy that is in our lives? Because we all have joy in our lives in some way.
Yes. Oh, I love this question. So there are a couple of things that you can do, but my first suggestion or offering that I'd like to share with you guys is to tap into your gratitude. Like gratitude is the attitude. If you're able to find something to give thanks for in the moment, that will immediately help you shift. I am someone who is led by faith. So in that moment, I thank God for things around me. Like I thank God for my children. I thank God for my health. I thank God. If you can think of 3 immediate things, give thanks for those things. And then again, being someone who is faith-led, I put on some music. Music is an immediate mood shifter. So put on something that makes you feel good, something that makes you want to move. I personally, I like a lot of things, but in a moment where I'm really trying to anchor myself in gratitude and anchor myself in joy, I like to put on praise and worship, just because, and there's contemporary praise and worship, all of these things. You have your full variances of whatever type of praise and worship you want to listen to. But personally, that really helps me because it helps me remember what God's promises are. So, it's not that whatever is here, whatever is happening will always be the case, but then you're able to speak life into things that are beyond your control. You can't control how someone else is going to act. You can't control what they're going to be doing. You can't control really anything outside of yourself. And even within yourself, you can't control those things. But what you can do is surrender them. And in that moment, I then pray. You know, I sing the songs in a way where it then also becomes an offering of a prayer of thanks, of engaging with gratitude for the things that are beyond me, but also knowing that I will always be taken care of, you know, and just singing the words and really feeling them. And then just praying, just saying thank you for what I currently have, the things that I can control, and the things that are able to anchor you in your joy in that moment. Something else that you can do is the thing that brings you joy, whatever that is. If it's meditating, do that. Hug the people that you love, whoever is near you. Create something in a way that allows you to use or amplify your voice in a way that is true to you. You know, with things that are happening, again, you wanna speak out, but you wanna do it in a way that not only makes you feel better, but it also helps other people that may be feeling the same way that you feel. You know, like
that
art
connection.
or creating. Yeah, exactly. It's a way that allows you to connect with the world around you, where you're then able to release what you're feeling, but in a way where someone else is then able to receive it. You know, it's almost like an act of defiance, but that makes you feel good, you know? So those are
I
some
love
things
that.
that you can do.
Yeah. And Amanda wants to know about joy at work. She says she loves her job, but some people are just unjoyful. And hey, we've all been there. We've all experienced or been surrounded by people who tend to be Debbie Downers, so to say, or bring the mood down, or really, and it can affect you. It can, you know, particularly if you're with them all the time at work. So how do we find more joy, rise above the negativity, and, you know, kind of not let it affect us?
Ooh, well, for situations like that where you're working with someone who may be a little bit of a downer, I'd say engage in conversation with them, because sometimes, you know, people have their things, but if it's something where you are automatically taking on what it is that they're projecting, then all of you are just going to be in a bad mood together. You know, it doesn't help anyone. So for you, Amanda, I would say continue to be joy, continue to be love in the ways that you know how, and in a way that is authentic to you. And you'll find that a lot of times when you're radiating that goodness, the person who may not be feeling so great all the time will then begin to pick it up. But more importantly, I'd say engage in a conversation with that person to try to understand what's going on. Because a lot of times people are carrying things around, and it's like, they aren't able to express those things to other people. So it's something that just sits with them. And sometimes they don't even really understand exactly what it is themselves.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So the moment they're able to engage in a conversation with someone and kind of like work through those things on with someone, so they're outside of their head, it then allows them a release, because most of the time people just need a release. That's the reason why therapy is so effective. Having conversations, journaling is another way to help them do that. But just seeing what could be going on, because it's sometimes really a conversational fix. Like having a conversation most of the time will help that person sort out what the issue is. And if there's any way that you can support them in whatever is making them feel a certain type of way, even if it's offering words of kindness or offering us a tip or a trick or something that could help them shift out of their thing, or even if it's a matter of suggesting a place where they could get help for whatever it is that they're going through. But just try to understand what it is that they're going through can be a really big help for them. And even understanding that they are seen. Seen and felt, because for some people that is also the thing, just feeling as though they don't matter, or the way that they feel, how, like if they're angry or if they're sad, like just feeling like no one cares about what it is that they're going through. Like, oh, well, I'm having a bad day, who cares, you know? But if they feel loved, if they feel felt, if they feel seen, if they know that they are cared for, even if it's by a stranger, that has wonderful effects in just helping them shift and transform the way that they're feeling about themselves. Like as
Yes.
people, we need
What humanity is all about.
Exactly. But I mean, listen, it's what humanity is all about, but it's also something that tends to get lost a lot
Yes.
because of technology. Now we're all like separated, you know, so
Right.
just remembering the importance of connection is a really powerful way to help people shift in joy.
Amanda said, "Oh, that is great advice. I won't give up." So she's taking that to heart. That's great. And Nicole, I resonate with this very much, Nicole. Nicole says, "I feel like I find joy in other people's joy. Like when my kids are joyful, that brings me joy. I think I need to find more of what brings me personal joy." And I feel like every mom can relate to that, right? Like we get joy when we see our families having fun and smiling and laughing and, you know, but sometimes the stress behind the scenes to get to that fun is like, oh my God, did we pack this? So it's like, we're enjoying their joy, but yeah. So what are some ways we can really find out what that is? Like, I have a few things that I know off the top of my head, but I would love to do some self-discovery on that. Like, where do we start?
Well, I mean, this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but at ericalasan.com, I have something that I created called the Joy Quest. And it is something that allows you to understand your journey to joy. Within 45 minutes to an hour, it's something that you do on your own, by yourself. No one else is needed. You can do it in little segments if you'd like, or you can run straight through it. But it really helps you develop a roadmap for what joy looks and feels like for you, while also helping you create a routine and a system around implementing those things so that you cultivate a habit of joy, which then eventually puts you on track for having a lifestyle of joy. And it's really the process that allows you to progress with your joy. So you can do that. And you can really just begin to, again, do the things that make you feel good. And being that there are those moments where as a mom or as a woman or as a wife or as a partner, however it is, you're going to have those moments where it's like you're trying to get to the mountaintop, the mountain peak of joy. Understand that joy is what happens throughout the journey. So even when you're thinking about transitional times, you know, everyone wants to celebrate when they get to like the victory, the big thing that's at the end of the entire thing. But no, it's not about getting there. It's about enjoying the pieces that it takes to get there. Celebrate the little wins, celebrate the steps, celebrate the fact that you're committing to yourself in joy, or that you even understand the need to commit to your joy. And just make sure that you are giving yourself a pat on the back. I mean, it is so easy to just not think that we're doing enough because the expectation is that we can do all of the things, but know that you're doing a great job. Okay, I'm speaking to you, whoever you are that's watching. Understand that you are doing a darn good job, and give yourself that pat on the back and celebrate yourself. When you are thinking about needing to take that moment for self-care or create that me time, count it as a celebration of yourself. Look, I get to celebrate myself today for 30 minutes because I did the darn thing. You know, I kept my kids alive today. They were fed, they were showered, and, you know, they were happy. You've done your job. Celebrate yourself because it's worth celebrating.
100%. Yep. Yeah. And I think that, you know, one thing I will say is that the gratitude thing really speaks to me also. Like we do like a little routine at bedtime, like we say our prayers, we have like our books, we have our whole bedtime routine. But one thing we started doing over the past year that, we all look forward to is we do something we call nighttime gratefuls. And it's what we each say one thing that we're grateful for throughout the day. And I think that it's like just a really nice, like even on really crappy days, like there's always something to be grateful for, and I think that it's important to teach ourselves that over and over and over again, no matter how old we are, because sometimes it's hard to shift that, and also to teach our kids. So that was just one other thing I wanted to throw out too. Nicole said that's great advice. So that's good. And Karina, I love too. I tell my students to give themselves a pat on the back and celebrate themselves. Thank you for reminding me to do that for myself. It's so true. We all need to do that for ourselves. So Erica, this was amazing. Thank you so much. Anybody have any last minute questions for Erica? Drop them in the comments now. But Erica, any parting words? I mean, you gave us our words of encouragement right there, but any parting words of encouragement for all of our moms watching tonight, just on how we can find a little more joy, maybe tomorrow, for example. What we can do for tomorrow?
Yes. I guess if there are any last words I'd like to share with you guys, it's just to take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And my thing is take it one feel-good thing at a time. And just doing what brings you joy, what feels good to you in any given moment. If it doesn't make you feel good, more than likely it's misaligned with who you are and what you're meant to be doing. And at the same time, especially with mothers, with us being mothers, motherhood comes with so many joys. It comes with so many challenges. It comes with so much self-growth and self-development as you're also growing and helping these little tiny humans develop until they're able to take flight and go on their own journeys. But at the same time, remember that it's a privilege. It is such a privilege, you know, to see yourself and know that you're doing all that you can to raise like the best possible human beings that you can. And in the moments when it's like really tough, on days when it's really tough, just remember how much of a privilege it is to be a parent. One thing that I started doing during quarantine, at the start of the quarantine, because life had changed and everything. So that's when we were taking on more, you know, schooling at home and stuff. I started at the end of each night telling my kids, I had a great day with you today. You know, just like that little thing, I had a great day with you today. And really thinking about, well, what made the day so great? And it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, but you made it. You made it through the day. You and your children made it through the day. You're here, you're alive, you're well. And as you go to sleep and wake up tomorrow thinking about what it is that you like to do with the rest of your life, know that each day that you wake up is a day that you get to create something amazing. The question is, what is it that you want to create? Whatever that is,
whatever brings you joy.
Whatever brings you joy, cast the vision, and then really just start working on those things, one feel-good thing at a time. And for anyone who's interested in learning more about how to do that or looking for more tangible ways to do that, you can visit my site, ericalasan.com. There are tons of resources there, including a podcast and all the other things. So
amazing, amazing. Such a wealth of knowledge, so much great stuff to share with us. Thank you so much for being with us, Erica. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I hope you ladies have a great evening.
It was awesome. All right, we'll talk soon. Take care.
You too.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for being with us. I hope you are leaving tonight feeling on your journey to joy, starting with how you wake up tomorrow and, you know, getting up before the kiddos and really taking some of this to heart. And, you know, we should hold each other accountable. So please let us know. Comment here, you know, next week even, or write us a message. Let us know how you're seeking out joy and really committing to this in your own life. I would love to hear too, just some of the things you guys are doing. So with that, thanks so much for being with us. Please, as always, let us know if you have an idea for a guest or a topic to talk about here for NJMOM TV Live. And I will see you back here soon. Take care.